So I recently reviewed all the big chicken breeds that you can possibly buy. Keep in mind there's definitely about 1,600 of them, but in this video I'm just going to be reviewing the most popular ones. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this compilation. In this video we are going to be reviewing 5 more chicken breeds that are very popular in terms of being rated based on eggs, roosters, enjoyability, and of course reliability, because we don't want an unreliable chicken, right? These are some of the best of the best. Will your chickens make it onto this list? Comment down below your favorite chicken breed before we start, and I'll make sure to make a video on it if I forgot it. Let's do it. Alright, so we're first going to start off with one I forgot kind of existed here on the farm, but we have them. We're going to start off with cinnamon queens. Now here's the thing, they're really well for high production layers, which is going to come in important later on this list. For eggs, I'm going to go 25 out of 25. They're about 290 a year. That's crazy, bro. You know how many, that's a lot of eggs per year. Sometimes above 300 though. In terms of roosters, I'm going to give them a 19 out of 25. They're great new roos, but they are occasionally aggressive. But they will be made up later on this list. 21 out of 25 for enjoyability. They are bred to live shorter lifespans, but they're actually pretty friendly when it comes down to it at the end of the day. In reliability, 25 to 25. You see, these chickens are what are known as sex-linked chickens. If you take a look at their feather tone at birth, you can easily differentiate between hens or roosters. They're specifically bred like that. Same with other breeds like ISA Browns and some other breeds as well that you can easily differentiate just by looking at the feather tone. So that gives them a 90 out of 100 in terms of this list. So next up we go to probably the most popular breed in the entire American egg-laying industry. Not only are they very popular in terms of getting fresh eggs at the store in the US egg industry, but they're also really popular for a backyard pet. You can probably guess what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Rhode Island Red. Eggs are a 25 out of 25 almost immediately. I'm pretty sure anyone cannot contradict that. If you want good egg layers that aren't specifically bred for high production, these are the way to go, man. Roosters are 23 out of 25. You see, I would have given them like an 18 out of 25 if it wasn't for how iconic they are and how good they do their job. Like, yeah, they're aggressive, but at least they do their job. They're like Waldo if he didn't have a joking manner. And then enjoyability, 18 out of 25. They're a bit less tame, but still get the job done decently. And I mean, you can tame them. They're just very hard to make them become like loveys. Like other breeds are very easy, like Buff Orpingtons, especially since Lovey was a Buff Orpington, which if you want, you can click the video on screen right now. It's in an iCard above, which does review Buff Orpingtons and like 10 other breeds for the part 1. Oh, I already went over that. Reliability, 22 out of 25. They're very reliable and consistent when they're being told apart. Or, yeah, I'm not going to say that word. But that's really all there is to it. They do cost like $6, which is okay. Does add up a little bit over time, but they're very cool chickens nonetheless. I'll give them an 88 out of 100 or B+ in terms of their final grade. Now next up, there's a chicken breed you may or may not have heard about. They're very popular for being skinny yet very tall. These chickens are one word that starts with an S and ends with an A. Sarima. I am 100% sure I'm mispronouncing that because it's a Malaysian chicken breed and I can't pronounce those words. So in terms of eggs, they're going to be an immediate 20 out of 25. They're about 190 to 220, which is just okay. You see, I enjoy giving eggs typically above 20 out of 25, but these eggs are okay. So roosters, 25 out of 25. They're very small, but they're pretty funny, and they actually are pretty friendly roosters, considering these chickens are a little bit different than the rest. In terms of reliability, oh, I missed one. Enjoyability, 18 out of 25, yo. I forgot reliability is next. They're a little bit less tame, but they really do get the job done. They're like Rhode Island Reds, except a little bit less tame, so you have to go on a mystical side quest to actually be able to get them tamed, like Lovey, versus Rhode Island Reds, which is, now you have to get them a little bit more treats from Tractor Supply. Reliability, 22 out of 25. They're very reliable in terms of how consistent they are, but that's just it. So their final grade will be an 83 out of 100, which, yeah, I forgot to mention, they're $30 a piece, sometimes up to 80 and sometimes as low as 10, which is very inconsistent. Now next up, we got a breed I'm 100% sure you know what I'm about to talk about. Small but friendly, the Silky Bantams. Eggs are going to be a 17 out of 25. They only like 150 eggs a year, which I guess is okay, but really not the best for high egg production environments. And yeah, that's not the greatest for some environments. I keep repeating myself, y'all. Roosters are 18 out of 25. They're known to be jerks, but hey, at least they get the job done, right? In terms of enjoyability, 25 out of 25. You already know where I'm coming from with this one. They are very, very, very enjoyable. But yeah, they're very funny. The roosters are cool and all like that. So yeah, they're very fluffy. Not like Gray Cloud in terms of fluffiness, but hey, they're pretty fluffy. And reliability, it's gonna be a 20 out of 25. They're just okay, nothing really too special, which lands them an 80 out of 100, which is officially the lowest I've ever scored a chicken on this list, which prior to this was 83, actually 84. But now I got 2 ones lower than the, I believe, Green Queens. Anyways, next up, let's move on to the last one. The Brahma. Oh boy, these are really, really great, and actually are the highest scoring on this list. In terms of eggs, they're not the best in terms of eggs, so I'll give them a 20 out of 25 with about 200 eggs per year. Roosters are 25 out of 25. They're actually very great roosters, and they actually are pretty chill with each other. Like, actually, not even gonna lie, Brahma roosters, according to the research I've done, are very great roosters with each other. Enjoyability is a 25 out of 25. Although they're like 8 to 15 pounds, they're very friendly, actually. Yeah, that smell of grape over here after the grapevines are starting to come in is starting to take an impact on my video quality, I think. No, it's not. In terms of reliability, 25 out of 25, almost perfect. Very great and reliable chicken. Only a cost of about $6, which gives them a final score of 95 out of 100. What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing 5 more chicken breeds to add to our list of every single chicken breed that we're reviewing. We're reviewing every single chicken breed in the series. This is our 3rd installment. Be sure to check out part 1 and part 2 after you're done watching this video. And let's get started with the first chicken breed, which is, of course, the Leghorn chicken. Their eggs are a 25 out of 25. If we didn't have Leghorns, we wouldn't have Easter eggs. And no, I did not say Easter eggers, I said Easter eggs. Because Easter eggs, if you notice anything, they're typically white, and they're one of the most common eggs you'll either find in the store. But a lot of the times you get the eggs from Rhode Island Reds, which I reviewed in the last part of this series. The roosters are going to be an 18 out of 25. I've heard a lot of complaints about the roosters, but at least they do their job, unlike someone I know. See, I always like to vent my anger on them whenever I'm talking about roosters. And reliability is a 22 out of 25. They're known to be at least somewhat reliable, although since they're high production layers, they don't typically lay as long. I mean, they don't typically, like, survive as long as something like a lot of the chickens in these flocks will. A lot of these chickens will only last for a couple years. The ISA Brown is probably like one of our only high production layers. And Abs just does not look great right now. She is not in the best state. She could have been much better if she wanted to. She's been laying shellless eggs, and she's going through a molt right now. Let's all hope and pray for the best for Abs. And enjoyability is a 24 out of 25. They're actually fairly friendly, although some hens, although they're sometimes a little bit too friendly and they will bite your fingers. It's basically like Buff Orpingtons. Not on that level of friendliness, but at least they're somewhat friendly. So that gives their total final score an 89 out of 100. Meaning I'll give you a recommend. I recommend this breed as an intermediate breed, so a 2nd breed. A novice is a 1st breed, an intermediate is a 2nd, and an advanced is something you get for a 3rd batch of chickens. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Not to be confused with the Americana, the Araucana, which I'm pretty sure I said incorrectly, is another breed that lays blue eggs, except they're not Americanas, they're Araucanas. I'm gonna need to make sure I don't say Americanas. So their eggs are a 20 out of 25. They're known to lay around 170 to 190 eggs a year. Americanas, like Kit Kat and Chicken Burger and Chicka Chicka, lay a lot more than that. Like, they're like around 200 eggs a year. These chickens take an even longer break starting right about now. Those chickens, and ending in about March, those Easter eggers we have won't take the break until about late next month and end in February. So they have a much shorter break time. Their reliability is a 23 out of 25. I skipped roosters, I'll do that in a second. They are known to be very reliable chickens. They lay plenty of eggs, and they live for a plenty good amount of time. So there's a lot of time in their life that you can have fun. And roosters are a 23 out of 25 as well. They are known to actually be helpful roosters. They're much better than Green Queen roosters, and that's for sure. And then the enjoyability is a 25 out of 25. They're basically a branch off of an Easter egger or an Americana, whatever you want to call it. Basically, those chickens are 100% something I'd recommend, giving them a 91 out of 100. I'd recommend these for a more intermediate level, although it's another one of those breeds that is interchangeable between intermediate and novice levels. So next up we have the chicken with probably the most features on this list. The chicken that comes with the best bundle. The chicken, very low cost, very low maintenance, does their job, and is basically almost the dream chicken. Might even be a slight bit better than a Buff Orpington. Let's find out. It's the Black Australorp chicken. Their eggs are a 25 out of 25. They lay so many eggs a year, and as a matter of fact, when they get older, they typically lay up to 6 years as high production layers. As production layers, they live up to 9 years. As non-production layers, they can get maybe up to 10. So there isn't really much of a difference there. The Black Australorp chicken lives for a decent amount of time, even as high production layers. They're probably one of the longest living high production layers, as they lay up 300 eggs a year, which is crazy. And the roosters are a 24 out of 25. They are great roosters, not on the same level as Black Copper Maroon roosters. I've been around one of these roosters, and let me tell you, that rooster was friendly. He let me pet him, pick him up, all that whatnot. It's a great rooster. You should consider adding them to a flock if you don't already have the Black Copper Maroon added to your flock. The reliability is a 23 out of 25, which is why the main reason is because although they live a long time, just like any other breed of chicken that's high production, some of them don't make it as long as others. They're very reliable though, because 23 out of 25 is still a 92%. Will their enjoyability have the ability to... The enjoyability will make or break it. You'll either give it a D or an A+. A 26 out of 25 because of how friendly they are. They have the great mixture and the fact that they're easy defense against hawks because of their size that is similar to a crow, and also their feathers, which is also completely black and is the chicken that will help defend your flock from a hawk attack. So that brings the total score up to a 98 out of 100. Now, there's probably not going to be another 26 out of 25. That's probably the only cheat I'm going to use for this series, but either way, that's just my emphasis. Go get yourself a Black Australorp if you haven't already. The reason we don't have them over here, I hear you're asking, because you don't have any Black Australorps. And why are you saying so many good things about them? Well, these nesting boxes are not fit to hold them. They're specifically bred to be a little bit bigger birds, so just keep that in mind. So next up, we got the Sussex chicken. Now, the Sussex chicken is not really like the other chickens, although they are really high on this list. And I forgot to recommend the Australorp chickens. I would recommend them to a novice level. They're very great chickens, very beginner-friendly chickens. The eggs for Sussex chicken is a 25 out of 25. They lay 250 or slightly more, plus or minus eggs a year. So I'd recommend them for their egg production, although $70 per chicken, that is not a fair trade-off. They should be laying every day, year, 2 times a day. And their reliability should be higher than a 24 out of 25. They should live for like 13 years if you're gonna get them for $70 each. And they should lay every day throughout those 13 years. Mainly it's because of their population or something like that, but that's crazy to think about. They are 24 out of 25 in terms of reliability. They do live like 3 to 6 years as high production layers, 5 to 8 years as standard layers, and as minimal layers, they'll live up to 9 years. The roosters are a 21 out of 25. They're known to be towering a-holes. However, I will give them credit where credit is due. At least they're better than Falcon. I gave Green Queen roosters a 12 out of 25 in my Green Queen reviewing video. Next up, we got enjoyability, 20 out of 25. They're not known to be the friendliest, even as hens, and their roosters are not that friendly and all that whatnot. Although I would recommend them to an advanced level, sort of as a collector type chickens. Like if you're like, oh, I got myself a $70 chicken, if you want to like flex income or something like that. Oh, I'm gonna flex my $70 chicken on all you guys. Well, yeah, feel free to do so. That's what these chickens are mainly for. That does give them a score of 90 out of 100 at the end of the day, which is great and all, but $70, is it really worth it? Tell me in the comments below. The series is back, and it's going to be in video essay form, not from here on out, but just for this video alone. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, because we're reviewing 5 separate chicken breeds today that will hopefully make your opportunity of buying chickens a little bit more easier. Now, the first breed we're going to be talking about are the Marans. Now, I know you're like, oh, you've already reviewed black copper Marans on the channel. What do you mean more Marans? Well, there are definitely more than just black copper Marans to talk about, because there's a lot of sub-breeds of Marans, and let's take a look at them. Black copper Marans are just one of the subspecies of the Maran group, if you will. Alright, that was the most random thing I've ever said, but eggs are going to be a solid 19 out of 25. They don't lay too many of them, but of course, it makes up for them in enjoyability, scoring about a 23 out of 25 or 92. The reason is quite simply because they are just absolutely friendly. You'll love them. I have black copper Marans. All Marans are about the same, so I'd give this about the same score for all of the other chickens. As for reliability, 24 out of 25. They're very reliable. The roosters are known to be really gentle and pretty tame all in all. And the overall score I'm going to give them is a 22 out of 25. They are lacking in some departments, but make up for it in others, so I'll give them about an 88%. That, believe it or not, is actually the overall score of all 4 of them combined, which gives me an easy to intermediate level range, which if you don't know, it's on the screen right now. Now next up we got quite the interesting breed of chicken, and you're like, who is the Shamo? Well, the picture on the screen previously in the transition was obviously the Shamo, and already I'm not the biggest fan of them because of their looks, but I don't really want to judge a chicken by its looks, because they could definitely have different qualities. Well, let's take a look at how their score holds up against that statement. Already off to a bad start, kicking it off with a 6 out of 25 for the eggs. Something almost unheard of. That is literally a failing grade if we're counting it as a grade, but we're not going to count it as such. Now, that does make up a little bit for enjoyability, but the hens are very flighty. They do tolerate people really well, according to my notes. It's just they don't really like other chickens of their same, gender that much. So that's why I'm giving them a 19 out of 25 for that. Their reliability could be better. 17 out of 25. That's like a 72. Actually, 68%. So that's not terrible. I mean, yeah, it could be better. And then the overall, I'll just give them an 18 out of 25. Not really of the greatest. Now, do we have a new lowest score? Yes, 60 out of 100, unfortunately, for these chickens, which is quite sad because they have so much potential. Better luck next time. Now, I just previously talked about a chicken breed that, well, definitely could be a bit better. Now, I guess we'll talk about a chicken breed that could definitely be a whole lot worse. We have the Padovana. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it incorrect. I know it's an Italian chicken. And also, if you're wondering, it looks the same as a Polish chicken, except they have beards like Easter eggers, so they technically belong to the Americana family. Anyways, enough rambling. Their eggs start off with a 19 out of 25. Alright, we're definitely starting off to a better score. Could be a bit better, but yeah, it could be worse. Now, this definitely makes up with the enjoyability and reliability, both becoming a 25 out of 25 for each, respectively, which means this is truly a chicken of all time. And I personally believe, from what I've done my research on, they have a lot of good causes, enjoyability. They're really enjoyable. They're probably one of the most tame chickens around people, just like Polish chickens, I believe I said. The reliability, they're very reliable. And as a matter of fact, the reason why I put reliability so high is because these chickens are born in a specific way, where if there was a rooster, you could tell because of the color. Now, because of this, I'm going to give it a 25 out of 25. The chickens are very easy to decipher. So, do you think I got above a 60? We'll look at the score below. 94 out of 100. Of course it's above a 60. What did you expect? Well, next up, I hear you guys saying, oh, this is literally just a barred rock. Well, listen here, buddy. In my opinion, there are some subtle differences, even if you don't realize it. So, calm down, little bro. Anyways, let's talk about these scores. The eggs already up to a good start, clocking in at a 23 out of 25. I mean, we are currently off to a very good start with the chicken breed. And then, the enjoyability, a little bit lower, but still reasonable. Like around average, what you'd expect. They're not terribly flighty. They're a bit better than barred rock. They're a bit worse than barred rocks, which is one subtle difference. The enjoyability clocking at a 17.5 out of 25. But the reliability, on the other hand, really reliable chickens. Definitely ones that'll help you through the tough times. 25 out of 25. The overall, I'm going to give them a solid 20.5 out of 25 due to some specific other things going on with the chicken, and because they remind me of Barred Rocks, and Barred Rocks are literally one of my favorite chicken breeds. Barred Rocks, I don't care what you do, I'm 100% biased that they're a 10 out of 10 chicken breed. 86 out of 100 is the final score for this chicken breed, believe it or not. Now, just a quick spoiler alert, this is going to be one of the greatest chicken breeds you've never heard of, clocking in with above a 60 out of 100, trust me. Their eggs are going to start off with a 25 out of 25, already going strong for the chickens. With the enjoyability also clocking in fairly high at 22 out of 25, bit average around that point. The reliability is also a 24 out of 25, which I mean is pretty cool. You know, I'd say they're definitely pretty good chickens, and I definitely give them the benefit of that. Now, the eggs, as I forgot to mention, they are actually dual purpose, which really makes them a really good, reliable chicken breed. They have good reliability scores, and I'd say because they're dual purpose, you can raise them for both meat and, of course, for eggs, which really makes it a whole lot easier on you. And the overall is a 25 out of 25 because they could definitely be really cool and cute chickens. Total score, 96 out of 100, making it now the highest scoring chicken breed on this list. So it's that season again. Everyone's going to the store and they're buying chickens and they don't really know what they're going to buy. So in this video I'm going to be providing you with 3 separate breeds of chickens that you should definitely consider buying for this upcoming egg laying season. You can get all these chickens right now for a decent price, and we might even go as much as 5 minutes in depth with each of these 3 breeds of chickens. So grab a bowl of popcorn and a nice drink and let's begin. For all the upcoming sessions, we will be covering a multitude of different things for each of these breeds to help you get a better understanding of each of these. I'll use the simplest terms possible for all y'all out there. We'll cover things like eggs, cost, recommended tips and tricks, food consumption, their intelligence, for obvious reasons, and my favorite memories with the chickens for the added bit of relatability. Anyways, let's hop into it. So, we begin our long journey about Buff Orpingtons with eggs. On average, you'll see about 220 to 260 eggs per year. Despite Google telling you about 180 eggs a year, I'd say it's a slight bit higher than that, if not way higher than that, and they're usually a very prolific layer. And they can sometimes overtake the next breed of chicken we're going to be talking about. They lay about every day, except for months like December through February, because, you know, it's really cold. Our Buff Orpingtons like Loudmouth, Cute, and Rogue are beginning to look like they're going to begin laying eggs soon. Although they are turning 4, so I'd expect a bit less from them during the course of the next year or so. And as for when they begin laying, about 18 to 24 weeks old, which is about average for most chickens. And as for the reliability score, that'll be a final of 18 out of 20, or a 90%. Good going, Buff Orpingtons, so far at least. Now, in terms of cost, on average, they cost about, I'd say, $3 to $6. If you find a ridiculously insane breeder, then maybe $8 or $9, but for the most part, they're somewhere between $2 and $6. They're mostly available during the months of January through April, or late July through mid-August, but I will warn you, especially in late July through mid-August, they sell out really quickly. So they finish out with a final cost score of 20 out of 20. Now, be sure to treat them with respect for everyone's sake, but this should go without saying, but the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because if you do treat them with the respect that they deserve, well, you get a really great outcome with it. They're becoming the friendliest chickens you could possibly get. And you want to keep a really close eye on them because they are very adventurous, and with adventure time with chickens comes moron time, and when those moron times comes up, oh, those moron times will come up, and the Buff Orpingtons will turn into the world's largest moron that you've ever seen, and they'll get attacked by predators. Fun fact, we had 15 Buff Orpingtons that we bought for the farm flock, and of those 15, 0 of them remain because they're morons. Try to keep the hen to rooster ratio about 15 hens to 1 rooster. I don't know, this one's like okay. I'm kind of on the line between 10 and 1 and 15 and 1. And try to keep the yard as safe as possible so that way they don't go to moron time. But other than that, their maintenance score is fairly low at 17 out of 20. Now, do Buff Orpingtons have good intellect, or is it about as high as mine when I'm taking a math test? Well, let's check it out. So, They are very intelligent chickens, for the most part. They'll know who is you, they'll know what is dangerous, they don't trust anything they don't trust. But other than that, they can't sleep up, and as I said before with moron time comes out of nowhere and you don't have any time to react, for the final score being 16 out of 20 or 80%. Fairly decent, I'd say. Now these chickens, because they're very friendly and very tame, they are great chickens for making memories. So let me briefly talk about Lovey. She was one of my greatest chickens ever with a ton of lore behind her name. She would oftentimes go up to me, beg for treats, and of course because she's Lovey, I'd give her the treats that she needs. Other than that though, I would say Buff Orpingtons are definitely a great opportunity for making memories. So go get yourself some Buff Orpingtons, and because of how great they are for memories, their final memory score will be a 21 out of 20. And as for their final score total, let's get into that right now. So with everything collectively added up, the total comes out to 92 out of 100 or an A-, which by looking at this graph right here tells you that they are very easy to care for chickens and are very, very, very easy in beginner's level. Anyways, let's move on to the next one, which we'll reveal in just 1 second. The Barred Rock or Barred Plymouth Rock chickens are chickens with black and white feathers that'll definitely be really friendly, and they're personally one of my favorite chicken breeds, so let's review them really quickly. We're going to go over those 5 things again, so hang on, let me go check my notes really quickly. Alright, let's... Now as for eggs, they usually lay about 230 to 300 eggs per year, on average, and they usually lay all months, besides January usually, sometimes December and February, but for the most part they're one of the first chickens to get right back on track after that. They begin laying at about 20 weeks old, and they're usually the first ones to begin laying. Their all-in-all reliability score is not 20 out of 20 like with the Buffs, but rather 19.5 out of 20 due to certain complications with egg disorders like we had with one of our Barred Rocks in the past flock. Now, Barred Rocks are usually about $4 to $7, which makes them pretty affordable, and they're usually available from January through May, which is a bit better than Buff Orpingtons, and late July through early September. Now, the reason they're only 19.5 out of 20, again, is because their price is slightly higher, but okay, it's not the end of the world, it's just a half-point penalty, no one cares to be honest. Now as for tips and tricks, this one will go without saying. You need to keep them in the yard because just like Buff Orpingtons, moron time comes. And don't worry, moron time will come for the next chicken breed as well. So if you thought these are the only two, nope. And also you need to monitor them for stupid behavior. I put another word in these notes that I'm not going to say for obvious reasons. But you want to monitor them for being the biggest morons, because they will always be fighting for that top spot because they are just competitive like that. So your maintenance score for them will be about an 18 out of 20, which is way better than the Buff Orpingtons because they do not get lost nearly as often. And as for the intellect, they are known to be a moron, but they can also be really smart. But because of their inconsistencies, they're going to be scoring a C on their report card for intellect with a 15 out of 20, or 75%. Not the end of the world, but it could be if the next score is even lower. Now, Barred Rocks can have the potential in them, so let me talk about Mrs. Peepers in very, very simple terms. Well, Mrs. Peepers, for starters, decided to begin... not really begin, but she was sort of involved with a fight between BCT and Chicken Burger, who would later go down the line form the Burger Twins, who will be discussed on the next. But, of course, the fight ended up getting heated, and unfortunately BCT slammed into Mrs. Peepers, which sent her right to the emergency room. Afterwards, she would end up barely surviving, and not really, she survived just fine, with a broken leg. Afterwards, she would have like a little bit of a spur, but then would have the greatest comeback story in recorded history and lead the pet flock for multiple years. So hey, as I said in the last video, if you want a politician, man, for 2024 like Mrs. Peepers as president, let's see what would happen if that would be the case. Well, here is the final score, and it's 92 out of 100 yet again. Anyways, I am going to go record the final one before I upload this video, so you are almost to the end, my fellow viewer. Ah yes, the Easter egger, one of the most versatile chicken breeds on earth with the biggest potential energy in any chicken ever seen. They lay so many different color eggs. Let's get into them right now. Now we begin off by talking about eggs, which are usually about 190 to 220 eggs per year, which might be a bit on the lower side, and they usually lay all months except for October through January. Now, supply and demand, which kind of might lower the score a bit, and they begin laying anywhere from 18 to 35 weeks old, and because of that's very unpredictable, I lowered the score a lot. But then I realized, they lay so many different eggs, so why can't I give them a little bit of a boost? Before my final score is going to be 13 out of 20. Because of their versatility and it's kind of worth it, 17 out of 20 or 85%. Not saving them from the 65 or the D. Now talking about the cost of things can sometimes be a real pain, but they're usually about $6 to $12. Now keep in mind, these aren't the true Americanas. They go for way more than that. They can go for as much as $169, which was the highest one I found. But there's probably much higher ones. I wouldn't be that surprised if you could find one for like $300, because they're so rare, and they're available year-round. So you could still get them likely off-season for most places. They're the most in stock, actually, when we went to go get our Golden Buffs batch back in late July of this year. Their cost score is going to be 20 out of 20. Despite them being on the higher end, they are available a lot more often, which kind of makes it worth it. And the price is also worth it, of course it is. Now I hear you asking, are these literally just the same as the last two? Yeah, moron time again. What did you expect? They are morons. Moron time will continue with just about any other breed of chicken, but these three are very prominent. Their maintenance score is going to be a total of 16 out of 20 because of the similar reasons listed above. That might also come to harm the next one. You never know. So we come to find ourselves about intellect with these chickens. They are very simple chickens, and they just do what they have to do on a daily basis, and for the most part, they're very smart. But then they can be the biggest imbeciles you've ever seen. So for all those reasons and multiple others, such as, but not limited to them being a moron, their intellect score is going to be a total of 17 out of 20. Now, we're going to be talking about memories. Now, I have a really good one I'm going to talk to you about. The formation of the Burger Twins. I gave them the nickname Burger Twins sometime back in maybe early 2022. But to be honest, they were very similar. Burnt Chicken Tender and Chicken Burger were the leaders of those Burger Twins. And because they were the leaders of those Burger Twins, they knew what they were doing. And of course, they would have the funniest things to do. Like pestering us to give us treats, making the loudest sounds possible, and just giving a lot of fun to us. The Burger Twins would be the greatest twins in that flock. There is obviously some more, like Summer and What the Cluck, which only one of those remains, but unfortunately for the Burger Twins, they met a very, very harrowing fate back in the year 2023. On April 7th, whatever day Easter 2023 was, that was when Chicken Burger unfortunately decided she didn't want to be in the game anymore, and then BCT decided on July 20th that she also didn't want to be in the game anymore. What is it with these chickens quitting all of a sudden? Rest in peace to all those that have been lost. And as for today's video, the last chicken of the entire list, the Easter eggers, ended up finishing with a final score of 91%, or an A-. Congratulations to every single chicken that made it onto this video, because these are my personal favorites. It's been so long since I've done the series, like, I'm not joking, like, it's been like 2 months and like 3 months since I've done one without a video essay, but we're back with the series, and the series is almost done. We're probably gonna have maybe 1 or 2 more of these videos before I can finally conclude the series, so enjoy. Our first breed that we're going to be looking at today is a Pita Pinta. I'm pretty sure it has another name, but we're just going to refer to it as a Pita Pinta because that's what everyone refers to it as. The records are coming in nicely at 23 out of 25, already off to a decent start, especially considering that this chicken breed is pretty crazy. Maybe they'll have a higher score. You'll never know. The next one that's going to be roosters is going to be a 21 out of 25. They are known to be pretty stupid, but they do their job. Keep in mind, we're ranking roosters mainly off of how well they do their job and a little bit off of how much they're actually pretty friendly. And then for enjoyability, 24 out of 25, they're known to be really friendly. Like this friendly. See how many chickens are chasing me right now? They're known to be this friendly, you know. As for reliability, that's going to be 23 out of 25, coming in for a final score of 91 out of 100. Next up, we got a breed you may or may not have heard of before. We got the booted bantam. Not just any bantam, it's the booted bantam. They're really rare, which will probably drive down their score due to price, but we don't judge based on that. We judge based on the statistics. Their eggs are going to be 18 out of 25. They don't lay too many. They lay enough to get the job done, but like they don't lay a lot. It's like very average. That's like 72%. And then as for, oh my god, this wind is blowing my paper around. The roosters are going to be 19 out of 25 because they're bantams. Oh, they suck a lot. Any bantam rooster, and I did my research for this one, they're pretty much the same. They're short and really mad, just like short people in real life. As for enjoyability, 25 out of 25. They're known to be ridiculously tame chickens like these. Most bantams are very friendly, except these are a little bit more friendlier than the bantams we reviewed back in September. And then as for reliability, 25 out of 25 for their final score because of how reliable they are. So this final score leads to an 87 out of 100. Not horrible. I've seen worse. Next up, we got a breed I'm surprised I haven't reviewed yet, considering we're probably going to get some of these chickens this spring. Well Summers. Yes, you probably have actually heard of these chickens before. And they lay like, what, about 200 eggs a year, giving them a 20 out of 25 score for egg production. Now the reason I want them so badly is because they're speckled eggs. It would have been like a 16 or 17 out of 20 if it wasn't for those speckled eggs existing. The roosters are 19 out of 25. They're known to be pretty big jerks, but they also do their job, which is where most of that score is coming off of. Their enjoyability is going to be 24 out of 25. They're very friendly. They're going to be like farm flock level of friendly. Reliability is going to be, let's see, 25 out of 25. Their final score is 90 out of 100. Next up, we got the green-legged partridge. These are a mouthful to say at the very least. Their eggs are a 14 out of 25. That's not the greatest start, but I've seen worse starts, to be honest. And then as for the roosters, 20 out of 25. So we're getting a bit better. You know, the roosters aren't the greatest, but they at least get the job done, right? Let's see. Their enjoyability is 21 out of 25, man. That's not horrible. I've seen worse, but like, hey, I could be better. Way better than what they currently are. Reliability is an 18 out of 25. They finish off with a score of 73 out of 100. I believe that's one of, if not our lowest score so far. Now this is another Rhode Island Red ripoff, the New Hampshire Red. Yep, we're talking about the eggs are 23 out of 25. They are literally just about the exact same as Rhode Island Reds, except they have a differing feather pattern and they lay slightly less eggs. Roosters are 20 out of 25. You know, they're just like Rhode Island Reds. They have that little attitude. Like, they have a big attitude. And as for enjoyability, 23 out of 25, very friendly. Reliability is a 25 out of 25. Their final score is 91 out of 100. Well, guys, the series is back with brand new chicken breeds. Today we're going to be reviewing 3 more chicken breeds. By the way, there will be one more episode where we will review 7 chicken breeds, because those are the only ones left that are on my main feed. We're not going to review the random ones, but today I got a list of some of them. Some of them are the best, some of them are the worst. Let's get into it. Subject number 1 today is going to be the Dong Tao chicken. I'm not too sure if I reviewed them or not, but I'm going to give them an honest review. I have made one short about it, about how they're really rare. They cost thousands of dollars, but I reviewed an I Am Some Money. I think I can review these as well. Their eggs. What do you think they got for a score? 7 out of 25. Obviously they do lay some eggs, contrary to popular belief. They just lay a total of 1 to 2 eggs a week, which when it comes down to it is really only like 60 a year. like 52 to 75 years on average. Their enjoyability though is 24 out of 25, so it does make up in that department. It also makes up in the reliability department. They're extremely reliable chickens. They're dual purpose, scoring 25 out of 25. Their overall though, I'm gonna give them a 19 out of 25. The overall looks at all the different aspects of these chickens and also uses an average score and many other things to help benefit the score. The final score for this chicken is 75 out of 100, which, I mean, could have been way worse. I mean, they got a C. Could have been way worse, to be honest. Oh boy, next up we have a mouthful. I know a bit of German. I'm gonna try to pronounce this one. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong about this one. Bielefender Kenhund. Yeah, that was a mouthful. If you want proof, it's right there. And you already saw the eggs are 23 out of 25. They lay about 5 to 7 a week, which is in the 200s range, which is where most chickens lie. If they fall in the 200s range, they're automatically getting a score around 21.5 or higher. Their enjoyability, they're really friendly, 24 out of 25. You'll find them being ridiculously docile. And as a matter of fact, they are very docile. Like, really. The roosters are okay. I mean, they're fine. The reliability is a 24 out of 25. They're also really reliable chickens. They don't have too many issues with them. And for the overall score, we're gonna give them a 24 out of 25. All these different benefits that come with raising this chicken. Oh, hey, you moron, get off. Why, how do you get up there, man? I'm sorry to interrupt the video, but how do you get up there? I would want to know. I want to get those skills, man. I want to know how you jump from the ground up. That's like 10 feet. Back to the point though, the final score is 95 out of 100. Next up we got the third and final breed, the Highline chickens. These are crazy in more ways than one. I want you to guess. Just off of the first score about eggs, I'm going to give them 25 out of 25, 355 a year. I want you to take a guess as to how good or bad their score will be. I want you to take note of that score. Their enjoyability is a 25 out of 25. They're literally just ISC Browns. Really friendly. You know, they're really friendly, actually, you know? Their reliability is a 23 out of 25. The reason is because, you want to know something? Because they lay so many eggs, they'll only live for about 3 to 5, 4 to 6 years. If you're lucky, you might get 6.5, but really, because they're like they have like one of the greatest eggs too. I've had their eggs before, they're really nice. Their overall though, 25 out of 25 easily. So their final score is a solid 98 out of 100. I do not know if I've had a score higher or lower than that, but 98 out of 100, give or take. You really thought we're just gonna end the video there, bro? No. You might have noticed that there's still more of this video left for you to watch, because there is. We're reviewing one more. We have the Sebright. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. The Sebright Bantam. So they're basically bantams, except they're a different variety. We already looked at the main bantam, the booted bantam, and now we have the Sebright Bantam. Their eggs, 9 out of 25. Not good. They lay like 60 to 100 eggs a year, which is a massive range. They do make up for enjoyability, which does score 23 out of 25. But that's the only like really high up, like above average score we have for them. Their reliability is a 17 out of 25. They're known to have breeding issues, unfortunately. Their overall will be 19 out of 25. They were really good chickens, so I had to include that into the score a bit to get, otherwise they would have had a much lower score, with their final score being 60. After a long run, the series is finally coming to an end after today. This is the last video you're going to see, so let's make this one the best one. Click the like and subscribe so this can get the most views out of the series, which I believe is like, what, 60 something? It's crazy. Let's get into it. Now we're going to start off with the Master Gray Chicken, which I am assuring you, none of these first three breeds, none of you have actually heard of these breeds before, so allow me to introduce you to the chicken that sounds like he would be the star villain in a, like a Marvel or DC movie. But the chicken breed is not actually that bad. Not the lowest, not the highest. Gotta give you the spoiler alert there. 20 out of 25 for eggs. Really, about 200 a year. That's not terrible. I mean, it could be better, but I mean, hey, it could be way worse. What are you complaining about? The enjoyability is 21 out of 25. They're known to be really friendly, but they can be a little bit like some other breeds of chickens we'll talk about later. They're a bit flighty at times. The reliability is 17 out of 25. They are known to have some issues when you're using them, when you're like hatching chicks. And overall 19 out of 25. It's not horrible for a chicken you've probably never heard of, which ends out with a 77 out of 100. I mean, could be worse, right? Another one you've definitely not heard of, maybe a bit more than the Master Gray, is the Croiler. It's an Egyptian chicken breed. You get about 190 eggs a year, so it evens out to a 20 out of 25. You can also get a really nice, reliable, and enjoyable chicken breed with 23 and 22 out of 25 respectively. Really, really nice. And for the overall scores, 22 out of 25. They're not horrible. They could be better. Yeah, my camera's dying. Got to do these clips quickly. Their all-in-all score is 87 out of 100, which, trust me, is not the highest. I'm sorry, but the Fyomi was the Egyptian breed, not the Croiler. Messed that one up again. But I don't actually know which ethnicity that chicken is. But the eggs, this one is 17 out of 25. They don't lay too many eggs, but it definitely makes up for it. And reliability, enjoyability. They're really reliable, 25 out of 25, and they're enjoyable, 23 out of 25. Their overall is just 22 out of 25, and I'll give them an 87 out of 100 for their final score. Now at this point in time, we're just going to review chickens that I've already reviewed before because I couldn't find any different ones. So let's get into it. Guess what? You've most definitely heard of ISA Browns. If for whatever reason you don't know what they are, let me show you. You see this chicken right here? This is T. Rexa right here. The brown one, that's your ISA Brown. Eggs is a 25 out of 25. Enjoyability is a 24 out of 25. Reliability is a 24 out of 25. Their overall, you guessed it, a 24 out of 25. Why wouldn't it be? So you do get benefit of the doubt with a total of 97 out of 100. Silver-laced Wyandottes. These are definitely the biggest morons in the chicken industry, and I used to have them, but they look something like Falcon, except a little bit more striped and isn't shaped like a Dorito. Their eggs are 23 to 25. They're not bad. They're not good either. Like their eggs are, I mean, wow. They have tiny eggs, but they make up for it. Their enjoyability is 24, and their reliability is 18. Because, as I said, these chickens have been known to scrape their IQ in half. We'll review another Wyandotte that's miles better than the silver-laced one later in this video, and has a much better reliability score. But their total overall is, I'll give them 24 out of 25. I'll slightly edge that one up a bit just because I used to have them, and they're pretty good and fun. They're just really annoying. So 89 out of 100, not terrible. Last chicken breed. No, second last, sorry. Nope. 22 out of 25 for eggs is our true Americana. Not an Easter egger, not an Araucana, or the Polish chicken, or whatever it was called, Padowana. We have the true Americana. They lay blue eggs. They have those beards, those little pea, what the heck are they called? Wow, pea combs, like the little pea-shaped combs, man. That's what they're called. I forgot what they were called. This is one right there. You see that Easter egger? That's a pea-shaped comb. You get 24 to 25 for their enjoyability. They're really fun. They're just like Easter eggers, except they're not crossbred with like every single chicken breed in existence. Like, I'm gonna assure you, if my chickens took a DNA test, it would come back with like 76 different chicken breeds, that most of which I've never heard of. We're just reviewing official chicken breeds, by the way. We're not reviewing like other random chicken breeds that people could create. There's like 1,500 of those that you could find elsewhere. And the reliability is 23 to 25. They're really reliable, man. Why wouldn't they be? Overall, 23 to 25, not bad at all. So 92 out of 100 for them, not bad. You get an A-. Okay, for real this time. This is our last one, so moment of silence. Oh great, the dogs just swept it. Alright. The gold-laced Wyandotte. We have one of these, man. Do you see this one right here? The golden one back there? It's our gold-laced Wyandotte. Isn't she a beautiful chicken, right? Their eggs, 25 out of 25. Enjoyability, 25 out of 25. She's a really great chicken. She lays us tons of nice eggs every day. Although, I'm speaking of egg production, they lay like 260 eggs a year, which is nice. They blend in with the rest, so it doesn't look like they're laying, but in actuality, they are going crazy in that coop every day. The reliability is 24 out of 25. They're way more reliable than the silver ones. We lost 2 of them progressively. One of them due to natural causes, and one of them we lost way back in 2021 because of the fox attack. So that was different. Their total is a 99 out of 100. So I've reviewed 40 chicken breeds now, choosing which ones are my favorite in each category. Let's do this. Alright, so can I get this paper straightened out properly? Yeah, my camera died, now it's back up to 13%, so that's cool, I guess. The eggs are going to go to ISA Browns because they lay a lot of eggs. Although Rhode Island Reds, I personally think they lay more eggs. I personally prefer the quality over the quantity, to be honest. And ISA Browns can combine quality and quantity to create the highest quality and quantity eggs, if you get what I'm trying to say here. Enjoyability will go to the Barred Rock. They're really enjoyable, they're funny, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow I'll have a video where my chickens are going skiing. Not actually, but like, it's a really like a weird twist of events. I'm just using this a little bit of self-promotion for the 0.2 of you that made it to the end of this video. But Barred Rocks are known to be leaders, and they're really funny. Especially a chicken named Mrs. Peepers, who lives in who in my quick little TV quote-unquote series lives in Lovey Hills. That's crazy, yo. For the reliability, I'm going to put Black Australorp because they're known to be highly reliable. They're known to help prevent attacks from hawks, especially. The reason why I have 2 black chickens yet it doesn't do anything for hawk attacks is because they're not the same size as crows. These guys are about the same size, which can unfortunately lead to some things like them having to fit into these nesting boxes. You might need bigger nesting boxes for them because they're a bit bigger, but they're way more reliable. They live for a long time, and they give you all the eggs you ever desired. It's basically an all-in-one chicken, just like the Barred Rocks and these other Easter eggers we have. For oh, can this thing just work? And for in general, this is a 3-way tie between Easter eggers, Buff Orpingtons, and Marins. And I had to include each of them just one time, couldn't do anything more, nothing more. So I would have probably put Barred Rocks at the end, but Marins are pretty close up there. Now to conclude out the series, the highest score in the series was the Gold-Laced Wyandotte during this video, was scored a 99 out of 100. And the lowest was the Shamo, which was in my 12 Days of the Chicken one, which had a score of 60 out of 100, which, comparatively speaking, there are way worse ones that you could probably find from personal bred ones. Just remember, I reviewed the 40 main ones that you can actually buy, albeit not all of them you can buy. You can't buy all these in the US or the UK or Canada, wherever you're at, but you can buy these in other countries as well. There are 1,600 or so chicken breeds that are personal bred and are available in certain places. I'm just reviewing the main ones that you can find in the US or Canada. Anyways, guys, let's cut to my brand new outro. By the way, the song will be releasing on Tuesday.